what is interpreting and how is it different from translation? Well, interpreting is the oral transmission of a spoken message from one language to another, or technically speaking, from the source language to the target language. Whereas translation is the conversion of a written text from one language to another. So a simple distinction between translation and interpreting is that translation is written while interpreting is oral. There are three modes of interpreting, i.e., consecutive interpreting, CI, simultaneous interpreting, SI, and sight translation, ST. In the consecutive mode, the speaker speaks and pauses for the interpreter to render the speech segment into the target language. When the interpreter has finished the rendition, the speaker carries on. In other words, the speaker and the interpreter take turns to speak, and there's no overlapping speech. Interpreters working in the consecutive mode usually need to take notes to assist their memory. This mode of interpreting is commonly used in a dialogue between two people who do not speak the same language, for example, between a doctor and a patient in a medical consultation, or between a lawyer and a witness in court proceedings.
Detective Sergeant, what is your current posting?
偵緝警長，你而家住晒喺邊一度呢？
東九龍總區特別職務隊
Regional Special Duty Squad of Kowloon East.
Yes. And is that the same posting that you held in August of last year?
喺舊年嘅8月，你係咪都住晒喺同一個地方？
係
That's right.
Okay. I would like to take you back to the 26th of August 2006. Were you on duty that day?
嗱，咁依家想請你諗翻06年8月21號當日，你係咪都當值緊啊？
係
Yes.
Indeed. And as a detective, have you always worn plain clothes?
嗱，咁由於你哋係探員嚟㗎啦，咁你哋係咪一路都着住便服㗎？
正確
Correct.
Okay.
Now, having seen how consecutive interpreting is performed, let's now have a look at what it is like to be a simultaneous interpreter. Simultaneous interpreting can be done with or without the use of electronic equipment. Non-electronic mode of simultaneous interpreting is performed whereby the interpreter sits or stands next to the person who needs interpretation service and whispers the interpretation of the speech. It is called whispered interpreting or chuchotage, which is a French word. Chuchotage is restricted to a very small audience, usually no more than 2 people. With a large audience, the electronic mode must be used, whereby the interpreter sits in a soundproof booth like this, with a clear view of the meeting room and the speaker. The interpreter listens to the speaker through the headphones and interprets the speech into the target language over a microphone as the speech is delivered. Listeners hear the interpreted version through their headphones. Usually, 2 interpreters work together as a team and replace each other every 15 or 30 minutes. While one interpreter is working, the other has to remain attentive and to offer help when necessary. A less common mode of interpreting is called sight translation or sight interpreting. It is a mixed mode of translation in interpreting, whereby the interpreter orally renders a document written in the source language into the target language.
Most people in Guangzhou and Hong Kong speak Cantonese as their mother tongue.
Smooth delivery is very important in sight translation. Therefore, long pauses, backtracking, unnecessary repetitions, voiced fillers, sudden starts and stops must be avoided as far as possible. A good sight translation should sound as if the interpreter was simply reading a text written in the target language. We have covered the 3 modes of interpreting, and I hope you find this video helpful. If you want to know more about interpreting, please browse through this website for more information and resources. Thank you.